Welcome back to the next episode of the Hard Hitter Podcast. This is the second episode, second NHL edition, I should say, of the Hard Hitters Podcast, and I am joined with the cast for the hockey team. We got Ertl. What's up?
How's it going?
And we got Braden.
What's up?
First time. Limited knowledge, Braden. So as you can see, we're going to be talking about some news. Not too much going on right now. What's going around the league right now, and we're going to start with Patrick Kane hitting his 400th goal playing the Red Wings. Not to mention, I was watching the game and holy shit, Red Wings are ass. But Patrick Kane scored the 400th goal, and I think it was fitting on a 2-on-1 that he's kind of been known for getting those assists. He does a little pulls it across, boom, snipe, low blocker. You guys, anything to say about that?
It was an absolute beauty of a goal.
You're commentating, Braden?
You're welcome.
Fitting goal for his 400th, you know. But I want to pose this question. Is he the greatest American-born player?
Like right now?
Of all time.
Of all time.
Oh,
right of all time. Right now,
yeah. Of course. Oh, yeah.
He's definitely top 3 for me.
Oh, yeah. And he could definitely, if he's not yet, he could definitely finish as the top.
Exactly.
The way, if he keeps playing.
Yeah. Like, it's pretty much it's him, Mike Modano.
Yeah. Maybe Pat. Fontaine. I don't know. I don't know who else you'd put in there with him. But I'd say, yeah, him and Mike Modano are probably the top 2 in my opinion.
Brett Hull.
Yeah, Brett Hull, that's true.
Yeah. Those 3 are in that number 1 tier, and then everyone else kind of just falls behind.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, we'll move on from that neat little there to Tortorella keeping his job. I think last episode we were talking about how he could be in the hot seat for losing his job because how he wasn't, at the start where he wasn't really playing line A, and after he basically was like, we need to move this guy, he's disgruntled, and then they go out and the management goes out and does it for him and ends up not playing him. So as you can see, Jackets GM gives Tortorella a vote of confidence. Thoughts on that, gentlemen?
Well, I mean, I think it's smart to just keep him through the rest of the season because it's proven that he's worked before with that group in Columbus. And, I mean, he's had a couple bump-ins with players, be it Dubois or Koivu this year. But, really it's about keeping the big picture rolling. And if, 20 guys are buying into the system, then he's going to keep his job. So,
oh yeah,
there's no reason not to keep him through the rest of the year, and
he's shown it's worked before. He's had pretty good success with maybe not the best of the roster, but yeah,
right. And you just keep him around for the rest of the year, and then if they miss, maybe you can him and go in a different direction. But I think he deserves.
And although they've been having a bit of a downward spiral as of late, if anybody could turn around, it's probably Tortorella. He's a good coach. I think you keep him at least till the end of the season. And maybe if things don't turn out as you like, maybe there's some moves that need to be made. So,
yeah. And I think last year they, their expectations were low and they overachieved. And then this year, because they overachieved, their expectations are just that much higher. So
just the last couple of years, they've just overachieved every feels like.
Right, and they're only a year separated from losing Panarin and Bobrovsky, so
oh yeah,
and they don't have a true number 1 star other than Line A.
And Is he like really that guy? Could find that form in Columbus, but yeah, it's.
I don't think anybody wants to be in Columbus, honestly.
What do you mean?
It's Ohio.
Interesting take. Interesting take.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I just hope that what happens to Line A isn't what happened to Rick Nash in Columbus.
No. Oh yeah. Oh
He's
no.
such a talented player and could lead a team on his own, but has no supporting cast.
Yep. Which I think he does. There's a lot of good players around him. Seth Jones, Brinsky, really good defenseman right there. Two solid goalies. Forward core, a bunch of decent supporting cast around him, but yeah. Obviously not anything crazy, but definitely not a bad team. They definitely, I know like you said, we probably think they should be doing more. I think they should be doing we think they should be doing more because they overachieved. I think they should be doing more a little bit, like regardless, because just the games I've seen, because I've watched a couple of their games, they just don't look very, very cohesive as a team.
Oh yeah,
Nice way to say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't care about Sidney Crosby and COVID-19 protocol. Okay, we can move on. We can move on to maybe a more interesting topic. Jack Eichel has been in some trade rumors after the Buffalo doing its usual Buffalo thing and forgetting how to play hockey for a month. So, you know,
what do you mean a month? They haven't known how to play hockey for a decade.
No, but like every season they start off the season well, and then they just have that 1 month where they just shit the bed, and then it's like, oh, Sabres aren't good this year. Come on now. But yeah, so Jack Eichel, but a lot of trade rumors. You guys think he's gonna get moved, or is he gonna stay?
You know, it's a hard one. I think Eichel stays at least through the end of this year. If you look at his cap-friendly page, he's got a no-move clause that starts. What year does that start? It starts in 2 seasons, so 2022-23.
That's what I was thinking. Okay.
So I think if he gets moved, it's at the end of that 21-22 season next year.
Yeah, that's fair. But you want to probably, if you're Buffalo, capitalize on his trade value while he's maybe a little less disgruntled, because you never know what happens. He might get a little more pissed off and a little more pissed off the longer you keep him, and then you lose a little bit of leverage. And so.
Yeah. Well, so I think that it's not on the Sabres. I think they're fine with moving him for the right price. It's just other teams may not want to take that $10 million cap hit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Until we're out of this, whole pandemic situation and everything's back to somewhat normalcy. Because the teams that could probably take him are only going to be the rich teams. You're not going to have any underdogs like Columbus, for example, and snag him up.
What do you think would be like a realistic team he'd go to?
Well, right now the rumor is on the Rangers, which I don't see happening ever.
I don't think that makes sense. They would have to, if he was to move to the Rangers would just have to give up so many, as I feel like, and they have such a good young core there, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
they're pushing the let's make the playoffs button way too quick.
Yeah, they need not a slow build, but they need to take it a little bit, take a step back and look at the big picture. Because if they, go all in here in the next 2 seasons, who knows what their future looks like? They might have a repeat of 1994 where they're great for a couple seasons and then they just fall off.
Yep. Yeah. If I'm New York, I'm staying the course with your young core, hoping they develop, which they should. Taking it from there.
Yep. Even the same thing with LA. Who's the other team rumored?
Who's been I
as
think
a
the only
front runner for Eichel.
Yeah, LA, another team who has a pretty young core there with some veterans, obviously, who's been playing a little better than they should have this year. I feel like it might be why their names thrown in the rumors. Got some veterans on the team. Maybe bring in one guy so they can help them make kind of a push. But I just don't think that makes too much sense for them.
Yeah, no, it
What are you
would
doing?
make sense on a 1-year deal. Like I could see LA going after a Granlund, for example.
Yep, that would make a lot more sense.
Someone that's kind of a middling piece that they wouldn't have to give up too much for, and who's also on an expiring or 1-year left contract.
Yeah, I think there's much more affordable options that make a lot more sense. So we can talk about you want to talk about your stat, Alex? Turtle the Turtle?
Yeah, so interesting stat out of Toronto.
One up.
And
yeah.
So no team has ever shut out an opponent in 3 straight games with 3 different goalies. Toronto has used Jack Campbell and Michael Hutchison to shut out the Oilers Saturday and Monday. And Hutchison started one of those games, and Campbell started the other. Frederick Anderson is on the IR, obviously, and if Anderson returns in a game against Edmonton, in the next game against Edmonton, and gets a shutout, that'll be the first time in NHL history that they've gone 3 different times in a row with 3 different goalies.
Very interesting stat. Very, 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 very. I'm glad you sent that to me. That was a little crazy to think about. That's the only what's happened.
Yeah. So there's been one other time where a team has shut out the same team 3 different times with 3 goalies, but that wasn't consecutively. That was the 1968-69 Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, that was a long.
So it's been a little while.
Yeah, it's a long ass time ago. But yeah, that's an interesting stat. I thought you brought up. You sent to me. So that's that. Oh, and then we also have a goalie coaching, I guess, move in Montreal, which was a little crazy. Canadiens fire goalie coach. Stéphane Waite. That's the best. Yeah, pronounce that. And then they appointed Sean Burke. So Stéphane Waite worked for Montreal for about, I want to say, was it 7 years? He's going to be.
This was his 8th season.
Yeah. Okay. So, firing Julien, firing him, changeover in staff, rollover. I know we talked about this a little bit, Alex. What do you think this means for Montreal?
Honestly, I'm not too sure. Maybe Carey Price wanted the move. Maybe he wanted to get a different opinion, a different voice. And so Sean Burke comes in as the goaltending director, which kind of they're kind of following the Florida model there with Roberto Luongo.
Yep.
I don't know. I think it's an interesting move, especially after Julien was fired last week. And I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it's kind of a changing of the guard. Like I was talking to you last night, maybe trying to make something happen before Carey Price starts really, really sing.
Yep.
Trying to make a play.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I don't think that it's a bad move because Sean Burke has proven in the past that he's a solid goaltending coach with the Coyotes. He's revitalized Dubnyk's career, among others, in that Coyote system. And now in Montreal, maybe he'll help Carey Price just bump that save percentage and get some more wins.
He'll probably go Carey Price mode at the end of the year anyway, and just fucking they'll just go on a tear at the end of the year, carry them to the playoffs. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Like every year.
Playoffs
Especially
in
last year.
Montreal are always better.
Yes. Yep. That is a team to be scared of to play in the playoffs. You never know. Carey Price could steal a series.
Absolutely, yeah. Watching them against Philly.
Yeah.
For a couple games in that series, it looked like Montreal
was gonna
upset them also.
Yeah, that would have been crazy. That's always been the problem with Montreal, though. They make it decently far off the back of Carey Price, and eventually he's just gonna give out. He can't do it all himself.
Yep.
Those earlier years with Carey Price, obviously. So to end it off, not end. Go look at the standings, the NHL standings. So I want to go look at those. Braden. And what I want to do just for each division, I want to name off maybe a team who's been really overachieving, and maybe a team who needs to pick up their shit. Braden, you can participate and talk if you'd like.
Okay. I'm just the producer of this episode. I had a little side commentary in there.
You said like one thing when we were talking about Patrick.
Right.
Oh, I said Ohio is not the place he wants to be. We're talking about Patrick Laine.
Okay, thanks, Braden.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll start off with the Central. What's a team you think's underachieving, and what's a team that's overachieving?
Well, to go back to Columbus, they and Nashville are definitely underachieving, but you can't overlook Dallas sitting at the bottom of that division. Yeah, they have the fewest games played, possibly the fewest in the league.
But the last
at
couple
17.
games, terrible.
But they haven't been good. Their last 10, 1-6-3. The Stars, if they want to get back to any sort of success, that's got to turn around right now.
Yeah,
because their schedule is so compact. They have like 100 games in 20 days, it seems like, from here to the end of the season. And they've just got to turn that around, because right now it looks like that the playoff picture is pretty secure with Tampa, Carolina, Florida, and Chicago.
Yeah, it's I remember they started the year off so hard. People had them in the top 3 for their power rankings like consistently because they were playing so good at those first couple games. And then
scoring so many goals.
Yeah, like their power play percentage was insane. It was But then, they go on the COVID. They have to sit out like a week for that. And then the Texas storm hits, so they can't play any games. So they have to sit out another week for that. And then you're sitting there for shit, what are we supposed to do? Now our games are getting compacted up. You haven't played a lot. Other teams are playing each other, actually getting their feet under them. And then next thing you know, you're in the last 10, 1-6-3. And it's going to be a tough time trying to make playoffs going like that.
Yep.
All that downward spiral has been as of late. I think they can pick it up. The COVID and the storm did not. Hello? Oh, shit. There you go. Dallas, I don't think it helped them at all, but I'm going to have to agree with you. Dallas to pick it up.
Yep. I mean, they're behind Detroit.
Yeah. Only 1 point, to be fair.
By a point.
Significantly less games.
Yeah.
Overachievers,
there aren't really any teams in that division that are overachieving, though. I mean, I guess you could say the Blackhawks, but...
Yeah. I would say the Blackhawks.
Yeah, but the top three is pretty much...
The Panthers really surprised me.
The Blackhawks should have only been ahead of Detroit, is what people were saying at the start of the year. But yeah, I'd say also Florida achieving. So I was thinking.
Honestly, I think Florida's finally living up to their potential.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
First year since they had Yager
roster.
They've been this good.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll move on to the East Division now. Braden, you want to start us off with the underachiever? Who's underachieving?
Definitely the Sabres. They got a lot of talent, and they're just not winning games.
Yep, that's very fair. They are pretty ass. I think, I don't know how you squander so much talent. My favorite meme right now, Jeff Skinner meme. It's like 63 points, and it's like 16, and then 2. It's so funny. And they're paying all that money for him to basically ride the taxi squad. He doesn't even play for it.
Well, and I think it's funny that Taylor Hall said he wanted to win, and they're at the bottom of the East. So,
well, this is just Taylor Hall's master plan. He's gonna
win in the lottery.
He's gonna get dealt at the deadline, go to a cup contender, win, and then sign for a ton of money.
Taylor Hall's always been one step ahead.
I don't know if that's what you're
including his heart win.
Yes. So who do you think you guys is overachieving? Shit. Talk. Overachievers.
Honestly, there's not really an overachiever in this division. The top 5 are the top 5 that I expected.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all so closely compacted that they're all within 3 points.
Yeah.
Right now, if you lose a game
you could drop.
The other teams win, you drop from 1st to 5th, possibly. So
I would say if I had to pick one, either go Washington or the Islanders. Obviously every team is within striking distance, but I wouldn't expect them top of the division. To be honest with you, I was thinking at the start of the year that it was going to, obviously I knew it was a good division, but I was thinking like Boston, Philly, Pittsburgh, and then one of those 2 teams, but both of them at the top. Obviously not super, super surprising, but I think they're overachieving a little bit. If I had to pick a team, I guess. But yeah. We can move on to the North Division.
Well, underachievers, you got 2 to pick from, right?
You got 2. Yes.
You got the Flames and the Canucks.
Yes. I would say the Flames more than.
Yeah, definitely the Flames. If you look at all their additions in the offseason, Markstrom being the most notable. The Flames have just not performed to their potential. And they've fallen back down to that middling status that they had in the early 2010s.
Yep.
And I'd like to see them bounce back and contend for a playoff spot against the Oilers, but
they could definitely do that. That's the thing. They could definitely turn their whole season. They're that good of a team. They have that many pieces that they could turn that team around and make the playoffs still. It's not too late, but they need to start picking up sooner rather than later.
Exactly. And the Canucks, it's kind of the same thing. You have all that great success last year, and then
maybe we a little overrated him.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then, but the expectations then jump to those standards, just like we were talking about with the Stars.
Same thing.
Earlier about the
Columbus
Blue Jackets, and now the Canucks are sitting at bottom 5 in the league.
Yep.
And they're just, it's kind
of
sad.
So much young talent, obviously a very young. Out of the 2 teams, I'd say Vancouver, unless they go on a crazy run, is basically out of it already, which is kind of crazy to think about. I would have put them contending for a playoff spot at least.
Oh yeah, I'd have the Canucks at 4 or 5 in my preseason predictions, but yep, at 9 wins after 26 games played, you're not going to make the playoffs unless you go on a complete tear like Ottawa did in 2015.
Run. Yes, I remember that.
So, Yeah, and then overachiever. I
Curtis
mean,
Laser Lazar.
oh yeah, Lazar and the Hamburglar.
Lazar.
I remember watching most of that Ottawa run and
Yeah,
just
that was
being
insane.
in shock every night.
Yeah. Lazar is like, he's the definition of AHL top six. That dude defines that position.
Buffalo says otherwise.
That's fair. uh, I love Curtis Lazar though.
Yeah.
What a fucking goon. But overachievers, I think either of those top two teams. I think we both expected Toronto to be good, but that good? I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that it would be Winnipeg's show.
Yep.
In the North. But yeah, Toronto's really proven that they're that team to beat in the North.
Yep.
And I'd be surprised if they don't make it to the third round this year.
Oh yeah. It would be
it is Toronto.
But a disappointment.
Yeah, it is Toronto, but they only have to get through Canadian teams to get to that third round.
Not to mention,
that is fair.
They don't have a weakness. That whenever I watch them, they don't seem to have a weakness. Defensemen are actually playing well, which I would say was the weakness in previous years. Obviously, have the good forwards, amazing goaltending. Freddie Anderson is contending for the Vezina right now. I'd say. I think he's probably a front runner.
Yep, he's definitely in the conversation. I'd say Vasi is the front runner, but I'd say Freddie's top three for sure. And then you've got Jack Campbell and Michael Hutchison to fill in.
They've both been playing well, yeah.
When Freddie's not there, and this year Hutchison has actually,
been pretty good.
Starting.
Yeah.
So
this would be the year.
Killed them this year.
Yes, this would be the year if you were a Toronto Maple Leafs fan that you need to go run.
Absolutely.
Before everything catches up to you. It will. That cap will catch up. But yeah, we can move on to the West teams now. For underachievers, I think you got to go Arizona.
Yeah.
Arizona's just got to play way better. I thought they were going to play way better.
I disagree.
You could also say Colorado as well.
I was going to go with the Avalanche.
I think they should have.
After 19 games, I would have expected them to have, maybe 15 wins, be
at least
a similar position as Toronto, where they're on the top of their division. And
I think they were a top 3 team at the start of the year. So I'd say.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a team where they can definitely. They'll be fine, but not too much to talk about there. But overachievers, I think this is the most interesting storyline right now. Minnesota. Holy shit, what a fun team to watch! I actually been able to watch them, root for them because they're not in my division. But holy shit, it's been fun to watch. It's a fun team.
The Wild have been, from night one where Kaprizov scores in OT all the way, through this previous game, even though they lost, they still put on a performance and tried to make it close. And then I think they're definitely an overachiever, and then the Kings also.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. The Kings have been on a tear lately.
They're looking like they contend for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
Which is great. They've got their veterans rolling, they've got their young kids stepping up.
Like Dustin Brown's 5th goals.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that pissed me off. I was looking at the stats. I'm like, why the fuck is Dustin Brown up here? But yeah, I love watching. I actually get to watch some of these teams and cheer. They're not in my division, and I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's kind of a nice thing about this year's format, where longtime division rivals are, especially for the Central Division, are kind of split up.
Yeah,
so
Central is basically split down the middle.
Yeah,
very interesting. But yeah, I think Wild would, if you're going to the playoffs, that's a team you don't want to have to run into. They could get hot and beat just about anybody, I feel like.
Yep. Plus, they've got that two-headed monster of Talbot and Capo Kakinen, the rookie, and
he's had a very great year. Yeah,
they've been good enough where they were able to place Alex Stalock on waivers.
Yeah.
And Stalock was their best goalie last season.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Well, hey, they just got Zooks back, and that obviously, I don't remember what the stat was, but they were like way better when Zuccarello's lineup. It's insane. I think he's one of the most underrated players. Seems like wherever he goes, teams win. It's just very impressive. He's very, very underrated.
Yeah, definitely. His last 5 games, all wins except for the most recent game against the Golden Knights.
Yeah, which is obviously a bit excusable. It's the Golden Knights, who we didn't talk about them much, but holy shit, they're having a good year.
Yeah.
That's a team who could go win the cup. Yeah. So I think that's a good place to end it off. Any final words? Beautiful cast of characters. No.
I've got nothing. It's been kind of a quiet week here for NHL news. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks it picks back up, and
trades probably coming on next couple trade talks at least. Yeah.
Yep.
So Braden, any final yourself?
I'm hungry.
Alrighty. Land it off, I guess, on that. Remember, check out the Twitter at the Hard Hitter Pod. Subscribe if you're not already. Check out the last video. Do all sorts of sports here: football, basketball, hockey, baseball. I know is coming soon. UFC, I know that's coming soon. A lot to tune into. We'll catch you later. See ya.